No, 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 no. Should be nice. Let me make sure we're on YouTube. Okay, sound check. Sound check, sound check. Let's see here. Are we on?
Hello.
Hello. Yes, we are on. Okay, so hello everybody. Just wanted to do this again. Apparently the sound was off. Nobody's in, of course. But I'll just wanted to say Sabrina Giesler and I will be talking tomorrow at some undisclosed time. We're still working out the the different time zones, but sometime late afternoon, early morning, early afternoon,
Late after, and now
late
I'm in.
morning tomorrow. Um, Sabrina is a longtime activist, and if you want to just say about 15, 20 seconds of what you're about again, and we'll have a conversation tomorrow.
I think there are almost too many things to focus on. I think that's a part of the distractionary tactics that they keep us busy with. But in the end, it comes down to our votes have to count. We have to worry about election integrity. We have to get money out of politics. And the underlying core cause for me would probably be education, because I think without education, we're all sunk.
Right. The money out of politics and corruption out of politics. Okay, good. Sound is coming through. I think decreasing it is a reasonable, but getting it out completely is a little.
Putting caps on it, putting real
Yeah,
limits on it that are
absolutely.
followed. What I think would be a neat trendsetter would be to get people that say, like the Subaru Corporation. They
Right.
seem to be a pretty people-friendly, environmental-friendly group. And if you could get individuals from high up within the corporation to donate as individuals publicly to a cause for their cap, instead of doing this behind the scenes, and start making it a publicity push for these CEOs and such, the presidents of these companies that actually do try to care about their ethical, moral, and environmental obligations.
Right. Right. And also, anyone who is touting money out of politics, such as Cenk Uygur, you don't take money from Bunny Romer. $4 million
Yeah,
from Bunny Romer.
you got to follow your own
Right.
ethical espousing.
Right. Which is part maybe even be part of the strategy to have people doubt others that come along with a similar strategy that would work, except for the fact that they're taking money. So, um,
That's
once,
sort of my fear,
yeah,
and not to throw too many topics out there at once, but with this DFAR contract that the former board I was on, Revolt Against Plutocracy, is putting out there, if their contract is co-opted by the Democratic Party and they're simply growing the Democratic Party, further contracts that the people might try to put out in a similar light will have a tainted name.
my thing with the CFAR contract is I don't know necessarily if it is a binding legal contract, and until it has actually been tested, and I know that there are a couple of Justice Democrats and a couple of people where you disagreed with who came on. I understand that, but until it is tested, you won't know. And my prediction is it will be tested pretty soon.
I would love to see it tested. I was one of the strongest proponents for saying that you cannot say it won't be upheld in a court of law until it's been tested in a court of law. It's unprecedented as an attempt. And so until it has gone through our judicial system, even through appeals, there is no no one with any credibility, in my estimation, would try to say one way or the other that it's completely viable and upholdable in a court of law, or that there's no chance. David Cobb was one of those, so strongly arguing that it could not be upheld in a court of law, which speaks to his co-option as well.
Well,
in my personal opinion,
I have for over 10 years been big with contracts, obviously being in a union and being a union representative. But a contract is only as powerful as its enforcement and it's being followed.
Public enforcement doesn't get discredited by saying that it wouldn't be upheld in a court of law. Right. If the public pushed it past the court of law, that has validity as well. But it can't be said that it doesn't have legal ramifications until it's been tested in a court of law.
I do respect some of the CFAR candidates in saying that they would pressure those who weren't following it to follow the Angelica Earl. I have to give her tremendous props for actually saying it on camera, and but I do agree that I'm not sure whether or not it's even legally binding. So.
And I think that matters, but I don't think it's the end-all be-all, and that I don't think it should be discounted as not being legally binding until it's gone through, like I said, all the Court of Appeals.
Right, and what are the benchmarks that you are not following the program? Also, because you have these broad policies. So what says that you're not working towards something, and is incrementalism towards a $15 minimum wage enough?
That's one of the things that I think are the best about the CFAR candidate, though, because it's up to each individual region's constituents to dictate what's in their contract, to follow their representative, and then to decide the levels of commitment they need to see from that candidate to decide if they're following that contract or not.
Right. Well, we've gone a little bit longer than I thought just to do a sound check. I don't want, I don't want your daughter to, be playing with the oven or whatever.
Oh no, I do something called unschooling. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that term.
Okay.
And it basically is the philosophy that the way that children learned when we were tribal, which was through other children, is actually a much more valid method of education even in today's times.
Okay.
Because if a child sees an adult doing something, it doesn't necessarily equate to them thinking they can do it. But if they see another child do it, then they're like, oh, okay, I can get there. I can do that.
Right.
And the older children learn from teaching the younger children. The younger children learn from the older children, while then turning around and teaching because they've learned to the younger children below them. And it just kind of continues. It's a cycle. So my older daughter is a very capable overseer. She's not able to be here on her own doing that, but she is 10 going on 17, and I can hear them through the door here. They're all doing wonderfully.
Well, actually, I'd like to talk about that at some point too. But,
absolutely.
I think we have a lot of children who are 45, 50 years old.
We do. And then I see those children that are 7 to 12 taking care of their parents.
Right.
Yes.
And we can learn a lot from kids too. And again,
and young adults that are in their 80s and 90s. One of my strongest mentors was my grandmother, my maternal grandmother. She passed away in I want to say 2013. No, it was probably 2014. She was getting ready to turn 101. She had made it to 100. And she was a teacher right when married women were allowed to be teachers. I don't know if you're familiar with the history of education much. And so she had a very unique perspective. She got to watch vehicles go around before street signs were up for speed limits because they couldn't go that fast. So the first radio in town, the first phone in town, I got to grow up hearing about all of this. And the educational history of our country is quite interesting. So sorry to get off topic again on you there.
Oh, that's okay. I mean, it's kind of a get to know you kind of a thing. So, but anyway, this is Sabrina.
Hello all.
So, yeah, I actually have a master's of ed.
Oh, okay. There you go. So we'll really be able to get in depth.
Yeah, I think that the educational system that we've had, the purposes, never really been on track for the United States.
Nor has
So,
it been honest or
no,
transparent, whichever term
absolutely,
you prefer.
absolutely. So, and that's a whole nother topic for
Oh, that's
another
a
day.
series.
Yeah,
That's a series.
exactly.
Yeah.
But
hmm
yeah, I'm basically wanting tomorrow we'll probably talk about because with our group, election integrity is huge, and campaign finance is a huge topic. So we can talk about that, and we can also talk about how to kind of transform how politics can can change, how political systems can change, whether it be
People power. We
yeah,
gotta have the people. You know,
you don't
people are
necessarily
gathered to
you
do it.
don't necessarily need one of the two parties, or even personally, why even need uh, political parties at all?
That's
In
an
my
interesting
opinion,
thought.
you know. But
hmm
it's okay because Tim Canova's turned independent. Everything will be cool. Everything will be good.
What What was it you were saying? A Democratic independent.
Yeah, the Democrats have abandoned us, which I agree with. But I'm still a
Were they ever
Democrat.
really there for us? I mean,
Right.
I have to argue the language a little bit, but
I'm still a Democrat, but I'm now an independent Democrat because I'm standing
right.
up for Democrats as an independent dude. All right, stop. You know,
Um, that's just trying to. I'm sorry, excuse my language. That's just trying to kiss ass in too many different directions.
exactly, exactly. His lips are like, I'm like,
Yeah.
listen. I get what he's saying, but are you trying to like say you're an independent to get people away from the party, or are you like kind of doing a U-turn where you're like, okay, I'm independent now, and now I'm gonna herd?
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Exactly. I was gonna say we
I
have a term for it, but you
I
got it.
don't know yet. I mean, because I mean,
I've had my theories on Tim Canova since he didn't move away from the Democratic Party the instant everything went down in the 2016 primaries.
well, when Bernie didn't support him that much, and Tim was still fundraising for Bernie
Yeah.
after Bernie didn't. I'm like, this is weird, you
It's
know.
all very weird.
I so what is going on?
Yeah.
I'm an independent Democrat. Independent Democrat. What? Stop. You know. And does it matter?
You know what I
Tell me
honestly
your
think it
policies.
is they have tentacles out there in every thought process, in
Right.
every group, in every affiliation. And what I've always said, and we do need to turn their ploys against them. We do need to learn their playbook and turn it against them.
Right.
So what I've said for a long time kind of ties into this same thought process of the way they're using it. We can't worry about all of these titles and boxes. And yes, causes matter, but causes can't be divisive forces either. If we're not working with 70, at least 60% of the nation in a rear, just up in arms, one way or literally or another, over what's going on, we're not going to have the people power to push it through. So we can't worry if someone has a political affiliation. We have to worry about how they act, what they believe in, what they
Right.
personally support, and just keep pushing for awakening. You're right. Political parties are nothing but a division.
Right.
So we have to quit letting them divide us. We that are as awakened as we are, because there's always more to do, have to start trying to create some way to work across the aisles, for lack of a better term.
But when I took some time thinking of my name, of my stage name. This is who I am, but
Yeah.
is he really an outsider? What kind of an independent is he? Good. Ask those questions, because I
Yeah.
want you to ask those questions,
Yeah.
because I want to tell you where my thought process is now. And politics is a fluid process.
Yes.
You can change your mind about things as information presents itself.
If
And
you don't,
parties
that
keep you
tends
in
to
that
go with
box.
fanaticism.
Yeah,
You know, yeah.
parties keep you in that box. I'm not saying that I will never become a green, but when people start going, I won't listen to you unless you, that's silly. Because what what has changed my opinion to being valid so much more that I put a G by my name, or an I by my name, or a D by my name? Which is the same, it's the Sam Ronan thing where I understand why he did it. I understand why he's running as a Republican.
But then he at least needs to talk about that. Talk about his process. Talk about his journey.
He actually
Because that
has.
gets him,
He actually
well,
has. And I'll because we've talked
okay,
about that.
maybe talk about it isn't the way. Maybe make it almost a platform of what he's doing.
Right.
Because it needs to be a key thing that people tie him to. Because all I tie him to is the fact that he did it. Not that,
Right.
I mean, I read some of his reasoning and things, don't get me wrong, but we're talking about the masses. And let's face it, it's not even inaccurate to say people don't have enough time to put in, to wade through the mysteries. So the average person that we talk to on the street isn't going to be clued in. We have to learn how to get past that. They're not invalid people because they're not clued in. Because if we invalidate everybody that isn't clued in, we lose automatically.
Gerrymandering should not be a political tactic, and I believe that's why Sam did what he did, and he has talked about it. However, talk about how you don't need to do that. I mean, if you have fundamental problems with the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, I don't know. Running inside the party, and some grassroots candidates have done it as well, just to get in. It is something that we need to talk. Just the fact that people have to do that and not get support. What are parties for then? Parties should be
the status quo.
Should be designed for as far as candidates go, to support that candidate because you have similar visions. And you're right. The party's goal is is sustaining the party.
Yeah.
Is to keep the party alive. And that's not good enough for me.
I think it's beyond that, though. I think it's also to keep those people that, GE, Exxon Valdez, all these companies that, they're there for their purposes as well.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that actually the Republican Party, and we've discussed this on multiple channels, the Republican Party and the Democratic Party are one party.
They are. It's the Democratic faction that we've got to try to reach right now, in my opinion. I honestly can more easily have a conversation with a conservative these days than I can with a mainstream liberal or progressive or Democrat or any bracket you want to put them in.
Right.
They're so reactionary that they are not even able to hear what you have to say.
Right. But I actually got a message. Something's going down in a couple of minutes, so I'm gonna have to go. But and I'll I don't know exactly what, but I may have to be alert and live streaming on another platform. So I'm gonna let you go. But this is Sabrina. We're going to be having some conversations online, and I'm working on a couple of other things. Angelica Duenes will be on my show again Saturday. This Saturday at 3 p.m. Saturday, April the 7th. So where we'll be talking about the Green Party and the four pillars and how she, what her main focuses are. Because I know there's the four pillars, but you can't focus on everything. But maybe even go, the top topic for each pillar. But the Green Party does have that forum. At least they have a solid platform and a solid plan.
That's
I
one of the biggest reasons I'm supporting them right now, actually. And
absolutely.
the thing is that I can approach the conservatives. I come from one of the most conservative, if not the most conservative region in Colorado. That's where I'm
Okay.
from, born and raised. And so I've dealt with it literally my entire life. And I've never really felt that way. But I can approach people here and simply say the 4 pillars or the 10 values, and they don't really have an objection to those.
Right. Right. But people say 4 pillars and 10 values. Some of them may not know what they are. Just go,
Well, I
oh,
can't
4
recite
pillars.
them. I'm getting there. I have it constantly pulled up on my phone so that I can memorize it.
Right. I mean, I don't know if I'll go 10 values, because we're only, she wants to, she's seen how I can ramble. So she wants like a 30-minute, 45-minute interview, which I completely understand that. So, because once you get past that amount of time, it can go off the rails.
Yeah.
But Sabrina, thank you. Thank you for,
Thank you as
thank
well.
you for contacting me. Now you've seen my face. Now you know what I look like.
I think we put it out there. I don't think we're
Yeah.
hard to find.
No, but yeah, if we'll plan something for tomorrow.
Maybe even a weekly series would be wonderful.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. None whatsoever.
Maybe
So
pick a day where you're not working at night so I don't have to worry about the morning.
we could do well. The thing is, too, is that I do work a lot, and I
Mhm.
work extra days. But yeah, we could figure something out.
Sounds
We'll
good.
figure something out. Thanks, Sabrina.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. See y'all soon.